Hey guys, welcome back to Ox Tools. I'm Tom. So this is Meatloaf 95. Actually, it's going to be a big one. I might even have to split it into two parts. Got a whole bunch of viewer appreciation mail, and got a gigantic box from one guy. It's going to take some time to go through. There must be 30 or 40 items in that box, but there's some pretty cool stuff in there. We're going to check that out. Sent some dial indicators back to a guy for repair, and got those back, and real happy with the results. So I'll show you guys those, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Let's see what else. I'm going to be sending out these cylindrical squares, so I got a lapping tool for the centers, so we're going to check that out. And then we're going to do a little modification to my tool holder rack on the lathe. So I get a lot of questions about that particular thing, so this would be a good opportunity to show that thing a little closer. I think I've shown it a few times in some other videos, but we'll look at it a little closer, we'll look at the brackets a little closer, and actually maybe even talk about some of the tools. So let's get cracking. Alright, so this next one here, this comes to us from Chris Chandler, and he's in Greenville, Georgia. And apparently, I don't know, about 20 years ago, he went to a garage sale, and it was one of those great garage sales, and it was, the guy's place was he was like a hardware salesman. And anyway, he had all his, in the back shed, he had all these salesman samples and new old stock tools and all kinds of stuff, so he bought a bunch of stuff. Anyway, Chris has a weakness for files, so he bought a bunch of files, and of this is some of the files that he got at that yard sale. Just rubber bumpers there. And these are Nicholson. Well, it's actually kind of a mixed lot here. Some of these are Nicholson, and some of these are Grobit Swiss files. And these are, we call these rifflers, or Swiss pattern files. And there's a couple of shapes in here that I don't have, which is great. And Chris, thank you very much for sending these along. They're in great shape. They don't look like they've been used much, if at all. And I don't think I have one of those. That's a nice one there. That's a Nicholson. And the Swiss files, they use a different system for grading how coarse the cut is. So most of these are number 2 cut or 0 cut. And I can't remember which way the scale goes. If more zeros is real fine, or I think it's the other way. The higher the number, the finer the cut, but I'm not positive about that. So anyway, Chris is a machinist, been a machinist for 20 years, and he likes watching the videos, and still finds some interesting stuff in the videos. So Chris, thank you very much for sending these. And I have to say, Chris, it was interesting. I opened the box up, and these were in there, but there was a Georgia millipede or centipede in there too, crawling around. So you got one less millipede in your yard, and he came out here, and then he had a little accident. Let's just say that, okay? So anyway, Chris, thank you very much. That's a nice gift, and I'll put those to good use. I don't have one of those either. That's kind of an interesting form there. It's got teeth all the way around that, so pretty wild there. Okay, thanks. Okay, so this next one comes to us from David Burrell of Neo 7 CNC, and I got to turn this around. David, he started out with a Kickstarter project, which is kind of neat. And if you guys don't know about Kickstarter, it's kind of a cool setup to kind of crowdfund products and ideas. Brad over at Tactical Key Change is a real success story with Kickstarter. It's changed his life, and he's buying machines, and he's got a whole business going. Well, David came up with this thing, this Loop Alien, he calls it, and it's kind of a like a tie-down system that you can use with these little clips. That's simple to use and readily adjustable, like tent stakes or tarp ties or things like that. So he sent me a couple of those, and we'll play around with those, and no knots, no hassle. So so this is an example of a Kickstarter project that he did, and now he's manufacturing these. So you can check out. Let's see, has he got a website on here? Loopalien.com. So if you want to check those out, those are pretty cool. He also sent me some stuff, kind of old stuff that he couldn't use from an eBay lot. So let's take a look at that. And we got some big mill cutters here, and I don't know anybody that I can think of that could use these. I might just, I don't know. You guys help me out there. Let me think of somebody that can use the hell out of these. So I can't use these myself. They're in great shape. They got sharpened and they got put away, I think. And now this one's interesting. It's got radius on one side, which is pretty cool. And you might use these stacked up with some others to form a slot that's got radius on either corner or whatever, or just use one. So get that. So I think I know somebody that can make use of those. And then he sent some smaller ones, which I can use. And this is a little staggered side tooth cutter here. This is a good one here. And can't quite read the size on it, but it looks about 1/8 of an inch. And then some small 0.45 jeweler saws here. Okay, those are always that's a good diameter and a good thickness. It's stiff enough you can do something with it, and not so big that it's scary to run. Anyway, David, thank you very much for the goodies. I'm going to pass these along to somebody. Actually back your way. David's from Greenwood, South Carolina, so these are going to fly back across the country and meet somebody else back there. So David, thank you very much, and good luck with your Loop Aliens. All right, so here's the next thing I want to show. This is it's a center lap, and this is used for lapping the centers of something before you cylindrical grind. There's a good example there. This is one of these cylindrical squares that I'm going to send out for grinding, okay? And there's the center that we would lap there, okay? And so, when you machine these, there's little lines in it and little high spots, and what you want to do is you want to, before you grind that, you want to make a real stable seat there, because the centers on cylindrical grinders, a lot of them are carbide, and they're dead, what we would call dead centers, so that they don't move, and you get the best stability when you're grinding. So they're running in there, so they tend to, any of those little high spots, they wear off, right? Which is not cool for the grinding. So let's go ahead and do one real quick, and let me, this one, it's got a fine one on it now, and you see it's got a little abrasive cone here, okay? And then it's got a nicely machined 60-degree included angle seat for it to bear against, okay? So let's, yeah, that one looks pretty good. Let's see, do I have a used one that I used already? Okay, let's just use one of those. And it's got a little piece of tape inside that kind of holds that cone together. And you stick it on the holder, and this ring pulls it down and kind of stretches it nice and tight so there's no puckers in that, so that actually, you know, you got the cone and then you got the thickness of the abrasive and that's it, and you're looking pretty good. So let me grab a drill and then we're just going to use a cordless drill on this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to reframe this so you can see it better, and we'll use a cordless drill here. Okay, so we just got it in a cordless drill. You can do this in the lathe too. You know, obviously you want to try to hold it straight here. So let's go for it. Give it a little spin, make sure I'm kind of centered. Okay, looks pretty good. I'm putting a little pressure downward. All right, that actually looks pretty good there. So you can see there's some little lines left. Let's. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth. You're just really getting the high points off to make a stable center. It's kind of like when you're sanding in the lathe. You know, when you have a rough finish and you measure the diameter, then you sand it a little bit, it changes a lot right away, and then it slows down because you've taken off all the high points. Well, that's a similar phenomenon to what's going on here, is that we're taking off those high points and getting to a real stable bearing surface is really what we're talking about. So there's the deal. It's lapped. These are going to go out and get some cylindrical grinding. I got a viewer that's volunteered that has a real nice cylindrical grinder, and he's gonna grind these. And for his trouble, he gets to keep one. So I got 2 of them. Anyway, these will be cylindrical squares when they're done. All right, let's go look at something else. Now, I forgot to mention this center lap that I bought that I just showed. It came from KBC Tools, and they're one of the. I couldn't find it anywhere else. Anyway, KBC had them, and when they shipped me the center lap and the abrasives, they sent along one of these flyers. Well, there's something in here. KBC also sells machinery, surface grinders, mills, CNCs, all kinds of stuff, and they have some purchase and lease options that are kind of interesting. But for those hobby guys out there, or people that have shops in their homes, here's an interesting piece here that we'll just take a quick look at. It's this. Let me fold this back here. And Paula told me that this is actually a big seller of theirs. It's a 13 by 40 inch lathe. Okay, which is that's a good size. You can do a lot on a lathe that size, and it's heavy enough that it cuts good, and you know, it's not so big that it's you know, this complete headache to move, and it's not so small that it's just frustrating. What's interesting about this one is the price is pretty good. It's less than $5,000, and it's 2 horsepower single phase. So right out of the gate, they've already kind of said, hey, you know, these guys that want to get a little business together in their garage or their home, you know, let's go ahead and set it up for single phase, right? Why not? So anyway, check that out if you're in the market for a lathe. I don't know anybody that has one of these, so maybe one of the viewers, maybe that has one of this particular model, can chime in and comment on their experience with it. And then they have lease deals for 110 bucks a month, which is that's 60-month term and $1 buyout at the end. So 110 bucks a month. That's you know, just quit drinking lattes every day for a little while. Make your own coffee. So anyway, cool, nice machine. Check it out. All right. So this next one actually is a. I sent some indicators back to get them worked on. This is my my old workhorse here, Starrett 1-inch travel, number 25. Anyway, you know, this thing was getting a little gummy. I don't know, I've had this thing for close to 30 years, or at least 30 years, somewhere in that region. So it was getting a little a little tired there and a little gummy, you know. It was not returning crisply. So I've been wanting a shorter travel one, which you guys saw. I bought a Federal with a 1/2-inch travel. But I sent this out to a tool repair guy that I've been wanting to try. A viewer turned me on to him, and it's called MR Tool Repair. Okay, and here's a little link right here, and there'll be a link in the description for you. Anyway, MR Tool Repair is in let's see where they're Illinois, I think. Yeah, and he did a great job. Okay, I sent him back. He turned them around in like 2 days and then sent them right back to me, and the prices were excellent. So if you have some indicator, here's another one he did too. I sent this 2-inch one back. Now this one here, the crystal was falling off of it, and I had tacked it on with a little bit of glue just to keep it on there. So he put a new crystal on it, cleaned everything, and this thing is just as good as new here. It's just absolutely perfect now. And I think with shipping and the repair or new crystals and cleaning and all that, I was less than $70 for 2 indicators. So you know what? Let me verify that. I got to double check that, but it's something like that. So it was really reasonable, and his service was real quick. So if you got some indicators, try out MR Tool Repair. And give him a try and see how you like it. And so far so good. I just sent 4 more back to him for cleaning and crystals and refurbishment. So and I only took 1 picture, I think, 1 or 2 pictures of these before, so it's not a really good contrast before and after. So but anyway, I'm giving him 2 thumbs up right now. MR Tool Repair. All right, so this next one here, this comes to us from John Murdoch, and he's in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and he's a retired aerial mapping photographer and a photo lab technician. He sent me, it's actually this Titanic box full of stuff here. It's unbelievable. It's actually going to take a little while to go through it, and so you know we'll start pulling this stuff out and going through it. You know, some of it's real special, and John, I really appreciate you sending that stuff in. There's some really nice things in there. So let's the other thing is he's got little notes on a lot of these things, which is great. And this package may contain rare and endangered types of tools. Some may bite. Proceed with care and at your own risk. Not responsible for irresponsible usage. So, all right. Well, let's just start at the top here. Let's look at these guys first. You know what? Actually, I'm going to move the camera in a little closer because some of these things are really pretty special. So let's move the camera in a little tighter. All right, so here's a good example. These are let's just say, please take good care of these. And John, don't worry, I will. These are just absolutely beautiful little guys right here. Look at these. So let's unchain them here, and then we'll get a look at them. These are all craters. Yeah, crater, and crater. So that's a number 85, 81, and an 84. These are chain nose pliers here, but they're in real nice shape. And I think I've talked about crater before. It's I think they were in New York. I'm not sure. I can't remember all the details about them. But their forging in particular was very, very tight and very crisp. And I've shown some crater pliers with decorative kind of Art Deco handles on them. Well, these are just kind of a miniature version. There's some little duck bills there. And it's just a really nice little trio here. Small diagonal cutters. And they just feel, let's see, let's give it a try here. Yep, works fine. fingernail clippers. So, John, those are just great, and I really appreciate you sending those in, and they'll find a nice place in my plier drawer. So, I don't know. I just can't say enough good stuff about Crater stuff. Okay, let's pop in. Let's get another one going here. We got a little protractor here. Okay, this is made in Japan here. SK Mark. This looks like a decent one here, actually. Stainless steel. That's kind of nice. You know, this is a pretty common tool, but this is a good configuration. I have one that has a square head too, which is kind of nice because you can put it up against an edge as well. And but sometimes you need the round head one, so that's nice. Thanks, John. This is really good here. Let's look at that guy here. So he's got what's it say? Rare, do not abuse, and that's no kidding there, right? So these are they're parallel action pliers. Okay, now I've seen this type before, but all the ones that I've seen are made in England. Not that that's a bad thing or anything like this, but this is an American company, and this is a Schlohorn company, Schollhorn, in New Haven, Connecticut. Now these are chain nose here. These are for taking a wire and forming a loop in the end, but these are cool because that space stays parallel. Okay, that's what's really neat about these. Never seen any like this before. So look at that. I mean, that's just formed sheet metal, but they have a gripping surface that they pressed in there as well. So pretty cool. Those are really nice. John, thanks again. Those are cool. Since we're on the subject of pliers here, let's just keep going with the pliers. What are these here? These are, interestingly enough, little nips, he calls them. These are Dixon, okay, and we've been talking about Dixon tools. Now, this is Dixon, but it says Germany on it, okay? So, I don't know if Dixon is a German company or these were made by a German company and branded Dixon, I don't know. These are end nippers. These are nice for pulling staples and brads and things like that. They're not flush cut, but it's a good little size there. So those are pretty nice. Let's take a look at that. Okay. All right, these little monkeys here. Actually, you know what? How long is this thing getting here? Yeah, let's go for it here. So these are rare. Rare number 2, I think he says here. Let's get rid of that stuff there. I don't need that. Now these right out of the gate, I go, oh, those look like Starrett nippers there, but they're not. These are Bernard, and so once again, this is a Schollhorn, Schollhorn company, New Haven, Connecticut. And these are compound action nippers here with adjustable jaws. Now, these are real special because, I don't know if you can see that, but they're for music wire, which is hardened wire. So this, might have been part of a piano tuner's kit or something like that, or a spring maker. So they're designed to cut heat-treated wire, a very hard wire. They also have a little stopper in here to keep you from poking the wire through into the works in there, I think. At least that's my best guess on that. And so these are, and they're in wonderful shape as well. The action's just awesome on that. And I should go get a piece of wire, and we should clip it off actually just for fun here. But forged handles. Nice thick ones. It's got some weight to it. It's a nice hefty weight there. I'm gonna go grab a piece of wire. Let's nip a piece of wire. All right, so this is it's not music wire. I don't have any music wire, but this is welding rods, 70,000 psi welding rods. So there's a stopper. Let's give it a go. Oh yeah, doink. Oh wow, look at that. That's quite the angled cut. So to make the jaws durable for hard wire, they have what do I want to say? The bevel on them is it's more axe-like, and I don't know if you can see that. Well, maybe you can see it on this part better. But you can see that the angle is it's almost a 45 each way there, and that's actually quite sharp. That little nip there. But let me do another one there. Yeah, that's probably how they can get away with cutting music wire is the way those the blades are dressed there. Anyway, that's a pretty special tool. Pretty cool. Thanks, John. This is great. You've bulked up my my plier drawer. All right, what's next here? Well, let's keep going with pliers. So here's some more. Very cool tool. Peel that off. Now, let's see if you guys. So these are like vice grip predecessors here. Okay. So in this particular case, you can adjust this. This little thumb wheel here, and then you can get on there, and they lock, okay, and they open. Yeah, they open. Okay. All right. So you just adjust them, kind of like vice grips, okay. But what caught my eye is this kind of the shape of this. This reminds me of the movie Aliens, and the little thing that pops out of the victim's body. It has that look, right? Of that little creature that comes thrusting out. Anyway, just reminded me of that. I don't know if you guys are science fiction fans. These are made by BMC Manufacturing. Binghamton, New York. These are number 7. We looked on eBay, and there's a few of these floating around, and these are pretty trippy here. Kind of vice grip predecessors there, huh? Pretty neat. Stamped sheet metal, laminated sheet metal, little Acme screw. The action's pretty good. Nice. All right, what's next here? Let's do this one here. This is just a box of miscellaneous mechanical parts here. I don't think, I get some long screws. I think he cleaned out his nuts and bolts drawers there and dropped them in there. So he did a garage cleanup, I think. We'll have to hear what John has to say. So we got pins, little knurled pins. Actually, we could probably use some of these coming up. I haven't looked through all this. Set screws. What else we got in there? Shoulder bolts, some cap screws, some more cap screws, more cap screws. Okay. So, oh yeah, these are some groove pins here. We actually need a couple of these little groove pins for the baby bullet here. You see those? They have a little groove in them, so they're swollen, so that they kind of stay in. So you can take them in and out a few times, and yeah, those are 1/8 inch. That's the size we need. So cool. Maybe we'll use a couple of those out of there. Anyway, cool little mechanical grab box there.